What if the only record that could clear your name was a bus log the city swore didn't exist? A winter bus hisses to a stop, a rumor hits the brakes. Driver shoved a veteran off, someone posts, anger spreads faster than snow. Nora Bennett's badge number trends, her phone will not stop buzzing. Writers film, point, whisper, monster, menace, liar. Transit brass suspended her first, promising a thorough review later. A TV truck parks outside her apartment, dignity now public property. Someone says the proof is gone. Truth Seeker transition line, stay with me, because what comes next will test everything we think we know. Cleveland, January wind cutting like glass. Nora Bennett, 12-year city driver, knows every crack on Route 12. The allegation lands at 7:18 p.m. She ignored a wheelchair signal, then forced a disabled vet to the curb. Supervisor Reed Mallory reads from a script, voice spotless, administrative leave, pending investigation. Nora remembers the moment differently, door sensor jammed, a sudden jolt, a good Samaritan waving. She also remembers opening her logbook and writing everything. By morning, the video isn't of Nora, it's of sirens 2 blocks away. But captions make it hers. Commenters stitch clips, and vet angles decide intent. A blogger calls her the face of contempt. The union rep, Marcus Hale, urges patience but avoids cameras. Reed Mallory talks about policy, operators must ensure full assistance. He doesn't mention the busted door sensor flagged 3 times. Nora stares at her kitchen table, at the thin, blue notebook that never fails. Transit Control pulls digital telemetry, GPS positions, door cycles, farebox timestamps. Reed says the system shows a gap. Conveniently, it's the minute in question. He implies Nora toggled something to hide wrongdoing. She laughs once, the kind of laugh that hurts coming out. Overtime scams require log tampering. She's seeing people fired. She also knows the old buses keep redundant paper logs. Her log is inked, dated, countersigned by the relief dispatcher. It contradicts the gap. The alleged victim remains unnamed, for privacy. A councilman rides the outrage, calling for swift accountability. Reporters repeat it. A man with a veteran's cap appears on a morning show, not the right route, not the right time, but close enough for ratings. Nora's landlord asks her to move her car. Strangers keep photographing the plates. Marcus tells Nora, bring everything. She wraps her logbook in a scarf like a fragile heart and heads downtown. In the hearing room's stale light, Reed presents a slideshow of policies. He narrows on Rule 8.4, operator may not depart until mobility aids are secured and passenger stabilized. Nora nods. She knows it by muscle memory. She also knows the lift never deployed, the sensor reportedly obstructed. Her log shows 8:12 p.m., door jam, lift fail alert, radio dispatch. Passenger assisted by bystander into shelter during snow squall. Reed clears his throat. The digital record says nothing. And then, the knock at the door froze every breath. The knock isn't on Nora's apartment. It's on the hearing room door, an internal auditor, Elena Cho, apologizing for being late, carrying a battered carton labeled Archive 12. Inside, retired route binders, manual incident reports, and a forgotten hard drive dock. Reed shifts. Elena explains the old telemetry backup wasn't decommissioned, just unplugged when the office moved. If it still spins, it holds a mirror of every missing minute the new system can't explain. Everyone exhales differently. The drive hums alive like a stubborn memory. Elena mirrors it cautiously, narrating each step. The room listens to progress bars. Nora watches the reflection of code in a framed Safety Excellence 2018 certificate and feels a pinch of bitter humor. Marcus leans close. If this shows your lift alert, we pry everything open. Reed whispers to the city attorney. Outside the blinds, snow finally stops. The old machine pings. A folder named Night Shadow Logs appears. Night Shadow was an overnight diagnostic project, duplicate telemetry saved at low resolution, meant for engineers, never integrated. It's ugly, but honest. Elena scrubs to 8:12 p.m. Coordinates line up. Door sensor flags obstruct. Lift register reads inhibited. Microphone captures 4 seconds. Enough, sir. Hold. Wind gust. Please step back. Okay, shelter's right there. A second voice. Got him. Nora grips the table. Reed crosses his arms. We'll need a chain of custody. Marcus smiles without teeth. We have it now. Reed pivots to procedure. Even if the sensor failed, Rule 8.4 says may not depart until stabilized. She left the stop. Nora's log shows departed 8:14 after passenger confirmed seated in shelter, bystander present, radio dispatch code B12. The dispatcher's initials, KS, sit beside the note. Reed claims the initials are unclear. Nora remembers Kelsey Stone, winter hat with a pom-pom, sipping cocoa the night they moved the consoles. She'll remember, Nora says. Reed's jaw ticks. Kelsey arrives, summoned, cheeks red from the cold. She flips her badge around as if armor. Yes, I was on duty. Yes, Nora called. The code matches weather assistance. I signed. Reed asks why the new system lost it. Kelsey bites her lip. We were told to trust the upgrade. Elena confirms the migrated database skipped certain error states. Only a paper log would have caught it. Reed suggests the paper could be altered. Ink doesn't blush. Kelsey does. A council staffer slips in, whispers to Reed. He straightens, projecting authority, and returns to Rule 8.4. Her responsibility didn't end at the shelter. A storm, a vulnerable rider, optics. He intends to win on optics. Elena clears her throat, holding an older memo, authored by Reed, directing operators during storms, transfer to nearest indoor shelter in lift-fail conditions, radio confirmation suffices. Nora's log description matches the memo's language almost word for word. Reed's policy undercuts his argument. The rule he cast on her was now aimed squarely at him. Marcus asks Elena to read the memo aloud. Cameras catch Reed's eyes blinking 3 times, slow. Nora's hands finally unclench. The memo's date predates the upgrade. Its initials at the bottom, RM, are unmistakable. Councilman Pierce texts furiously, screen lighting his face. Marcus slides a copy of the memo to the press table. Policy is not performance art, he says. Reed mutters about context. The context is the snow and a lift that refuse to obey physics. Nora asks to speak. Her voice is steady. She describes the gust, the bystander's steadying arm, the umbrella wedged in the door track, how she pulled it free, logged the obstruction, and called Kelsey. She remembers the veteran's jacket patch, U.S. Army, faded, thanking the helper. She remembers the shelter's fluorescent hum. I waited, she says, until he waved me on. On the Night Shadow audio, a faint thank you exists, 2 syllables, soft and human, undeniable when looped. Reed's strategy phrase. He shifts to chain of custody again, but Elena's forensics are meticulous, photos, hashes, logs of access. He questions Nora's handwriting. Kelsey confirms, she watched Nora sign during a shift change, she also countersigned. Marcus raises the overlooked maintenance tickets, 3 door sensor failures on that exact bus, week of the incident. Maintenance approved temporary operation with caution. Reed had initiated the temporary clearance. The room registers a pattern, failure, warning, directive, and scapegoat. Councilman Pierce requests a recess, but the press table shakes their heads, no one's giving up this momentum. Marcus calls an unscheduled witness, the bystander. He found him through a Route Forum post. Enter Elijah Rowan, HVAC tech, plain jacket, calm eyes. He testifies it was blowing sideways. The lift wouldn't deploy. I guided the man inside the shelter, sat him, and told the driver we were good. She waited. I waved. She left. Simplicity is a knife when truth is simple. Reed questions Elijah, did the driver touch the passenger? Elijah, she held the door with her shoulder against the wind. Did she ask for your name? No. She thanked me. Could she have done more? Elijah's pause is deliberate. She could have stopped the storm. The room exhales laughter that isn't cruel, just tired. Reed's mouth is a line drawn too straight. Marcus looks at Nora. She looks at her log, then at the window, where the snow melts. Elena projects a screen of night shadow exceptions citywide. The so-called gaps cluster around storms, sensors, and the upgrade window. It's bigger than Nora. It's a systems failure with reputational carnage tagged to human faces. Reed asks to limit scope, too late. The union murmurs, press pins scratch like rainfall. Nora considers calling her mother and decides to finish first. On the screen, one label blinks, Shadow Bus 12, shelter confirmed, stamped exactly when her pen recorded it. But hidden in plain sight was the truth no one wanted to see. Elena enlarges the memo footer. Another line appears, an addendum overlooked because the printer cut it off years ago. Operators following this directive are deemed in compliance. Reed signed it. He looks physically smaller. Marcus asks the hearing officer to enter it into the record. Councilman Pierce whispers that a retraction would be prudent. The blogger who first named Nora as the face of contempt types, backspaces, then types slower. Nora's breath stops racing. It lands. Kelsey produces a call log off her personal notebook, time, code, initial. Her voice shakes at first, then steadies. We got rid of these since the upgrade, she says, but I kept mine, just in case. Reed objects. The hearing officer overrules, foundation established by Night Shadow corroboration. Elijah nods along, remembering the tempo of that night. The pieces interlock, weather, lift, shelter, wave, departure, call. It is a chain. Chains hold when links are clean. Marcus turns, finally, to the rumor. He plays the viral clip beside the real telemetry clock. They're from different streets, different minutes, and different bus numbers. The blogger looks nauseous. Will you correct with equal volume? Marcus asks. Yes, the blogger whispers. Reed's last defense evaporates. The hearing officer lifts her pen and looks at Nora's badge photo, then at the screens, then at the memo with Reed's signature, and speaks slowly, sentence by sentence. And in that instant, the room fell silent, every eye turning to the truth. Findings, the officer says. Operator Bennett complied with Policy 8.4 as clarified by the Winter Directive. Telemetry malfunction created misleading gaps later exploited by public commentary. The allegation is unfounded. She orders reinstatement with back pay, a public statement from the agency, and a review of the upgrade. She adds an ethics referral concerning selective disclosures. Reed stares at the table. Marcus squeezes Nora's shoulder. Elijah offers a small thumbs up and disappears into the hall. 2 days later, the agency posts a video, an apology, clear and direct. Nora returns to Route 12 to find regulars waiting with coffee and those awkward smiles people wear when relief replaces rage. The veteran, his name is Howard, bored slow but steady, nods to Elijah's bench where a new windbreak stands. Thank you, he tells Nora, properly this time. She taps the brake, listens to the door seal, and lets the bus exhale like it's forgiven. At the Transit Museum Annex, they frame a copy of the Winter Directive beside a thin blue notebook labeled Bennett, Route 12, January. The case becomes a training module, redundancy saves truth. Nora stands under fluorescent hum, her reflection divided by glass and never more whole. The lesson is simple: when systems fail, honest logs become lifelines, and rumor dissolves when records hold. If stories like this speak to you, subscribe now. Because here, we uncover truth, deliver justice, and share lessons worth remembering.